Imagine you're a fisherman in 1918. You're off the coast of Australia near Port Stephens. The sun is setting, the water is like glass, and suddenly your entire world shifts. A shape emerges from the deep, a ghostly white monster so large it makes your 40-foot boat look like a bathtub toy. The men on that boat were seasoned sailors. They weren't easily scared. But when they saw this creature, estimated at over 115 feet long, they were so traumatized they refused to go back to sea for days. Was it a whale? A mass hallucination? Or was it the ghost of a predator that was supposed to have died out 3.6 million years ago? Today, we're diving into the dark. From the slender 2024 body reconstructions to the 2026 data on deep ocean metabolism, we're asking the question that keeps marine biologists up at night. Is the Megalodon actually still out there? Otodus Megalodon wasn't just big. It was a 50 to 60 foot long eating machine that dominated the oceans for nearly 20 million years. That's longer than humans have even existed. To put this in perspective, a megalodon could swallow an entire orca whole. Its bite force, an estimated 40,000 pounds per square inch. That's roughly 10 times stronger than a great white shark and 3 times more powerful than a T-Rex. Its teeth, which are all we've really found of this creature, measure over 7 inches long. Imagine a steak knife. Now imagine that knife is a tooth, and imagine 276 of them in 5 rows, all designed to crush through whale bones like we'd bite through a breadstick. This was the ocean's undisputed heavyweight champion. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was safe when a megalodon was hunting. So when something this dominant just disappears from the fossil record, we need to ask why. And more importantly, could the fossil record be wrong? The mainstream scientific consensus is pretty clear. Megalodon went extinct around 3.6 million years ago during the Pliocene epoch. But here's where it gets interesting. We don't actually know why. The leading theory involves climate change, not the kind we're dealing with today, but a global cooling event that fundamentally altered ocean ecosystems. The ice caps expanded, sea levels dropped, and the warm, shallow coastal waters where megalodon nurseries thrived started disappearing. But there's a problem with this theory. Other warm water species survived this same climate shift, so why couldn't an apex predator that had dominated for 20 million years adapt? Another theory suggests it was competition. Great white sharks were evolving, becoming faster and more efficient hunters. Could the new generation have outcompeted the old giant? Possibly. But here's the thing. Great whites and megalodons didn't even hunt the same prey. Megalodons went after whales. Great whites prefer seals and smaller fish. Then there's the food source theory. Many of the baleen whales that megalodons hunted went extinct or declined during this period. Without their primary food source, the theory goes, megalodons starved. But every single one of these theories has gaps, holes big enough for a 60-foot shark to swim through. And that brings us to the uncomfortable question that scientists hate but can't completely dismiss. What if we're wrong about when it went extinct? What if the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence? Let me blow your mind for a second. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean. Think about that. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floor. The deep ocean is the largest habitat on Earth, and it's almost completely unexplored. The Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, reaches down nearly 36,000 feet. That's over 6 miles straight down. The pressure at that depth would crush a human instantly, and we've barely scratched the surface of exploring it. Now, before you say, "But Megalodon lived in shallow waters," let me introduce you to a little thing called deep-sea gigantism. We've discovered species in the deep ocean that we thought went extinct millions of years ago. The coelacanth, a fish thought to have died out with the dinosaurs, was found alive and well in 1938. Giant squids, once thought to be myths, turned out to be very real. We didn't get actual footage of one until 2012. The deep ocean is a time capsule. It's cold, dark, and filled with enough food in the form of giant squids, deep-sea fish, and other creatures to sustain a large predator. Could a population of megalodons have adapted to deep-sea living? Here's what makes this possibility spine-tingling. We find new large marine species all the time. In 1976, we discovered the megamouth shark, a 15-foot filter feeder that somehow avoided detection for all of human history. If a shark that size can hide, what else is down there? The oceans are also full of what scientists call cryptic species, animals that look identical to known species but are genetically distinct. What if Megalodon didn't go extinct, but evolved into something we've misidentified? And then there are the sightings. Now, I know what you're thinking, sightings aren't evidence. You're right, but when experienced fishermen, marine biologists, and naval personnel report seeing sharks of impossible sizes, we need to at least examine the data. The 1918 Australian incident I mentioned earlier involved crayfish fishermen who described a shark that was ghostly white and larger than anything they'd ever seen. These weren't tourists on a vacation. These were men who spent their entire lives on the ocean. In the 1960s, during the filming of a documentary, a great white shark was spotted that researchers estimated at over 30 feet long. That's roughly twice the normal maximum size for a great white. Misidentification? Possibly, or possibly something else entirely. Sonar readings have picked up massive objects moving at depths and speeds inconsistent with known whale species. In 2018, a research team off the coast of South Africa detected something on sonar that measured over 50 feet and was moving with the distinctive motion pattern of a shark. Now, let's pump the brakes and look at why scientists are skeptical, because they have very good reasons. First, there's the tooth problem. Sharks lose thousands of teeth throughout their lifetime. They're constantly shedding and regrowing them. If megalodons still existed, even a small population would be leaving teeth everywhere. Modern great white teeth wash up on beaches all the time, so where are the fresh megalodon teeth? Every megalodon tooth we've found has been fossilized. That's a process that takes thousands of years minimum. If they were still alive, we'd be finding recent teeth. We haven't. Second, there's the food chain issue. A 60-foot shark needs to eat a lot. We're talking multiple tons of food per week. A population of megalodons, even a small one, would have a noticeable impact on whale populations. Whales would be showing up dead with massive bite marks. Commercial fishing would be encountering them. We'd see evidence of their feeding. Third, breeding populations need genetic diversity. For a species to survive, you need hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals. That many 60-foot sharks can't hide. They'd need to surface. They'd need to hunt. They'd leave behind undeniable evidence. Marine biologist Dr. Catalina Pimiento put it perfectly. The ocean is big, but it's not that big. A population of apex predators this size would leave traces. And then there's the technological argument. We have satellites monitoring ocean temperatures, tracking shipping routes, and watching whale migrations. We have acoustic sensors throughout the ocean. We have thousands of research vessels, fishing boats, and submarines. The idea that a population of the largest predatory sharks in history could avoid all of this detection stretches credibility. But here's where the conversation gets really interesting. What if both sides are partially right? What if Megalodon did go extinct, but much more recently than we think? Fossil dating isn't perfect. We're working with incomplete data, making educated guesses based on geological layers and radioactive decay. What if Megalodon survived until 100,000 years ago, or even 10,000 years ago? That would explain the absence of modern teeth, while also keeping alive the possibility that ancient human civilizations might have encountered them. It would explain why the extinction theories don't quite add up. Maybe they had more time to adapt than we thought. There's also the possibility of relic populations, small groups of a species surviving in isolated pockets long after the main population dies out. We've seen this with other animals. The ivory-billed woodpecker was declared extinct in the 1940s, but there have been credible sightings as recently as 2005. Could there be a small, isolated population of megalodons in a deep-sea trench we haven't fully explored? It's not impossible, just highly, highly unlikely. Here's the thing about science. It's not about certainty, it's about probability. And the probability of megalodons still existing is extremely low, but extremely low isn't the same as zero. The ocean is the last truly wild frontier on Earth. It's a place where the laws of biology can surprise us, where creatures we thought were impossible turn out to be real, where the unknown still vastly outweighs the known. Whether or not Megalodon still exists, this conversation reveals something fascinating about us as humans. We're drawn to the unknown. We want to believe that there are still monsters in the deep, that not everything has been discovered and categorized and filed away. And honestly, there's something beautiful about that. In an age where we can Google anything, where satellites can photograph your backyard, where AI can generate images of things that don't exist, we still have a frontier that defies complete understanding.
The deep ocean is Earth's alien world. It's where biology gets weird. Creatures without eyes that hunt using electrical fields, fish that produce their own light, worms that live around volcanic vents in water hot enough to melt lead. If these things exist, what else is possible? But let's also appreciate what we do know. The megalodon that actually existed was incredible enough without embellishment. A shark that ruled the oceans for 20 million years. That's a success story. That's an animal so perfectly adapted to its environment that it dominated an era. The fact that it's gone is actually a reminder of how fragile even the most dominant species can be. Environmental change, shifting ecosystems, loss of prey, these things can bring down even the mightiest predators. And that has implications for us. We're living through a period of rapid climate change right now. Species are going extinct at alarming rates. The oceans are warming, acidifying, filling with plastic. If Megalodon couldn't survive environmental upheaval, what makes us think we're immune? So, could Megalodon still be alive? Based on the evidence, the honest answer is almost certainly not. The lack of recent teeth, the absence of carcasses, the missing impact on the food chain, the sheer difficulty of hiding in a monitored ocean, all of this points to extinction. But here's what I love about this question. It forces us to confront how much we don't know. It reminds us that the ocean is vast and deep and still full of secrets. It keeps us humble. Every year, scientists discover between 1,500 and 2,000 new species in the ocean. Not all of them are small. Not all of them are insignificant. The ocean is still teaching us that our assumptions can be wrong. Will someone someday pull up a megalodon tooth that's only decades old? Will a deep-sea submersible encounter a massive shape in the darkness that defies explanation? Probably not. But the fact that we can even ask these questions, that we can't say with 100% certainty, is remarkable. The ocean covers 70% of our planet. It contains 99% of the biosphere. It reaches depths where the pressure would crush steel, and we've seen less than 5% of it. So maybe Megalodon is gone. Maybe it's been gone for millions of years. But something else is down there. Something we haven't discovered yet. Something that will make us rethink what we thought we knew about the ocean. And that's the real story.
Not whether one specific prehistoric shark still exists, but that our world still has room for mystery, still has frontiers to explore, still has the capacity to surprise us. The megalodon that lived was extraordinary. The megalodon that might exist is fascinating. But the ocean itself, with all its known and unknown wonders, is the real Leviathan. And we've barely scratched the surface of understanding it.
So the next time you're at the beach, standing at the edge of the water, looking out at the vast blue expanse, remember, you're staring at the last great mystery on Earth. The unknown isn't in space, it's right here, in our own backyard, hiding beneath the waves. Every week, we're bringing you the most fascinating, most mysterious, and most jaw-dropping stories from the ocean. Real science, real mysteries, and real wonder. So subscribe to Ocean Bingo. Turn on notifications because the ocean doesn't keep secrets forever, and when it reveals them, you're going to want to be here. The deep is calling. Are you ready to answer? Learn the ocean, love the ocean, protect the ocean.